welcome to Gymnastics with Joy, the podcast that flips your perspective on gymnastics, where every athlete has a story and we're here to tell it. I'm Joy, and today I am joined by a power-packed pioneer, a force on the floor phenom, a vaulting virtuoso, a trailblazer, a tone setter, a twist definer. I can't believe she's here, but she is. Please welcome Vanessa.
Yay. Thank
Don't
you.
even
Thank
need
you
a
for having
last
me.
name. It's Vanessa Atler, but we're on the first name basis.
That's right. That's right. That's how we
No,
started off.
yeah, exactly. No, thank you so much. For those of you who don't know, Vanessa Atler is an icon in the sport of women's gymnastics, artistic gymnastics, especially in the USA, a trailblazer in so many ways. So I am honored and I am humbled that you are here.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, any opportunity that I have to talk about gymnastics, I love. I'm still involved with the sport, so it's an honor for me to be asked to do this. So thank you.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. Yes, you are. I mean, you're a gym nerd, and I love it because I'm
You
a
know,
gym nerd.
I'm not like the biggest one, but I definitely am in love with gymnastics. I'm not like super educated on what's always happening at the moment, but I when I have time, I want to know. I love to know the gossip. I'm just, I'm definitely a fan, so.
Yeah. I love that about you. And I love when you do little posts about the meets that you watch, little
Yeah.
breakdowns. They're great. They're great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I just started doing that. I think now we're going into what NCAA stuff's
Hmm.
coming up
Hmm.
and it took me a while to start getting into that, but the last couple of years I've really loved watching it and it makes it so much more year round where you can enjoy gymnastics all the
Yes.
time, instead of waiting for, the big championships to come up or whatever, Pan Ams or something, we
Yeah,
get to enjoy it all the time. And I'm so glad that it's aired so much more now than it used to be.
I agree. Absolutely. So let's get into well, I know you began gymnastics when you were 5, right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
did.
Yeah, talk about that and what first pulled you toward gymnastics and what made you stay?
Well, I think most of all, when I was little, I loved attention. And, I was just wanted to be like the star and, used to love to watch like Star Search and things like that. And I think one of my big things, like when I was 5, I made this decision I was going to be a cheerleader and I was going to marry the football player. Like that's how it's supposed to go, I think. At 5, I tried to figure
Sure,
that out. Like, oh, you're going to be
sure.
popular if you're a cheerleader, and that was like the way to do it and get married and have kids. Like that was like my dream. And I think I used to ask my mom, can I do cheerleading? And she's like, I don't think they have like cheerleading classes for that age. And I think back then they didn't, it wasn't as popular as it is now. And she said, but I think there's like a local gymnastics place where you could do like gymnastics and flip around. I was like, okay, that sounds good to me. So I kind of did that. And then when I did my first gymnastics class, I think I just noticed that people saw or coaches saw that I had a little bit more than some other kids. I could do a bridge kick over. I didn't even know what that was, but they were just like, oh, kick over. And I was able to do it. And so
Yeah.
I got some attention from it. And I was like, okay, I'm in love with this. I'm good at it, I guess, And it just kind of fell in love from there. And I think it was just like, wow, this is a sport where you kind of just play around,
Yeah.
get to just play. And I don't know a lot of sports that are like that, where you literally, it's just like playing on a playground all day. So, of
Yeah.
course, I fell in love with it.
Yes. I love that. And when did you first realize, because obviously you're for us gym nerds, for people who've watched you, we know you are known for your power, your amplitude, and just your ability to do difficult skills that you were doing skills that other people were not doing. Obviously, like the Rudy, fantastic, but like your double twisting your Chenko was special. I just hope you know. Like
Oh,
that's
thank you.
that's a hard vault. And
I love doing it. I really did. I think one of my biggest things was I just wasn't that afraid of it.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
was able to connect that vault is just like tumbling, and I loved tumbling. There was really no difference except for your trajectory was going in this angle instead of a flat.
yeah.
So I think just not being afraid so much just really made it easy for me to go like, oh, it's just a double full. Like,
Yeah.
we do triples on floor and stuff. So, yeah, I just got kind of a natural ability. I think I was like that on beam too, where I was just able to naturally go, oh, this is easy stuff compared to the floor, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and absolutely. A Rudy is a really difficult skill as well.
Yeah.
It's front tumbling.
Yeah.
And not everyone, I feel like some people either do one or the other. Oh, well, in elite it's both, but in NCAA some people do one or the other with
Sure.
slight, but you have this ability you're really good at front and back tumbling.
I was, and I think my love for front tumbling came first. I really,
Really?
I did double fronts in elite, and when I was a junior or my first year senior or something, and I was a front vaulter like in my old gym before gliders. I did like Sukes and front handspring fronts, and
Hmm.
and so I developed my forwards first, um, and then I think as my round off at gliders, Steve really worked on my round off as that improved. My Yurchenkos came into play and other things. So,
Talk about that. Talk about the importance of the round off when doing a Yurchenko
oh
vault.
my God. I mean, it's just in general, I think round offs are the thing that needs to constantly be worked for tumbling or for Yurchenkos. And, a lot of people are always looking at where's the issue happening? Why are they landing short? Or why is this block not great? Or just like, why are they slow on their tumbling? It's always due to the round off. It's like a domino effect. If that round off is not good and it's not snapping under, all of the power goes away. So roundups always have to be worked consistently from the very beginning till you retire. You should
Yeah.
always be working on roundups. And so I think it is so, so important to never lose sight of that.
Yeah, because and one thing about your Yurchenko double full that I noticed is A, it was huge. I mean, gigantic, like just so
Thank you.
high in the air, and you always most of the time landed with your chest
Yeah.
completely vertical. And you also stuck it a lot or had a really controlled landing. Like, how did you master that vault so well? Because it was not a vault that was done so often at the time, and now
Yeah.
it is. But tell us a
Yeah.
little about that.
I think kind of what I was saying before was, again, Yurchenko is a round off backhand spring
Hmm.
double full. That's basically what it is, except for without punching into the double full. You're missing your feet or whatever. So
Hmm.
the skills itself are all there. If someone can do a round up back handspring double full on the floor, the skills itself are there.
Hmm.
It's your round off has to be developed a little bit better because you're rising up to a higher surface on the board.
Hmm.
But other than that, if you're not afraid and you run full force into it and do a round of back handspring with the same technique you would on the floor, and your mentality is kind of like, well, it's the same thing. It's really, I don't want to say it's not hard, but I just mean I think it's more mental than it is talent. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think when we go to the vault, people tend to slow down or be more careful or just do things slightly different than they would when they tumble. And I think that's just one ability that I had was a mentality, which I wish I had on bars. I wish I had that. I don't know what I would compare bars to, but bars I was always afraid of and holding back. And beam and vault, I just compared it to tumbling with easier skills.
Yeah,
It's not like you're
yeah.
doing a full in off of the except unless you're Simone Biles
Unless you're someone, yeah.
you know but yeah, I think that's kind of the key was just really have that mentality that these skills you can already do. It's just kind of going on to different equipment and not being afraid. You got to be able to run full force into these moves, and I think that's a
Yeah.
lot like what Simone Biles did. She was not afraid.
Mm-mm.
And yes, she's so talented and amazing, and she can jump 50 times higher. But I think also she just knew where she was, and she knew that she was fully confident in herself, which allowed her to use all of her full energy on everything.
Hmm. Simone has never held back a day in her life.
Never held back. Exactly. Which is
Yes.
so fun to watch. It's fun to watch someone go reckless into something with
Hmm.
full force. And I think that's when you see amazing things happen. I think it's the same thing when nowadays just people doing double layouts they're just so amazing
Yeah.
because if you pull back, the skill is very simple, right? You're
Yeah.
going up, you're arching. But if you're not, and if you do that without being afraid, there's just so much power and possibility to fly in the air, you know. And I
Yeah.
think as people do double layouts years and years and years later, it's the confidence grows with people because they can see like, well, this person can do it, so can do it. And oh, this skill's not as hard as we think it is, you
Yeah.
know. And so I think that just skills developed over time.
Yeah, it has. And then you have Simone who took it to a whole new level with the
Yeah,
double layout and added the half twist at the end, which is,
exactly.
I don't think people
Amazing.
understand how crazy that is because that
Yeah.
half twist makes a difference.
Oh my God. It does. It really, really does. But again, I think it's this reckless, I don't want to say reckless, but just this nature about her that says, "Oh, it's just a half twist more."
Hmm.
I think that's the difference between her and other people.
Hmm.
It's there are some people out there, you know, that fly high, right? Like Trinity Thomas or
Hmm.
whoever. It's like if but can they have that same mentality that she has
Hmm.
and say, "Oh, it's just an extra half." It's just like she can see the next step and
Yeah.
just go, "Oh, yeah, I could do that." When a lot of people go, "Ooh, that's never been done before. That's hard," or "That's gee, that might be difficult to do." It's kind of like, "Oh yeah, I could do that." You
Yeah.
know. I
She's
love
so
it.
creative, an innovator. I
Yeah.
mean, all the things.
All the things.
So tell us a little bit about how when you first realized you had, oh, maybe a, like a little unusual power, we'll call it, like
Sure.
in a good way.
Yeah.
And because you had like that just really incredible power and amplitude that not a lot of people had. And I just want to know when you first learned that you had that.
I think that came more later when I became an optional at a gym called AV Twisters in Antelope
Mhm.
Valley, California, to where I met Jamie. Um, the coach there was really big about conditioning and strength and no fear. So the gym before that, you know, as in compulsories, it was more dance based oriented and ballet. And I loved, that's where I fell in love with dance and stuff. And then when I moved to this other gym, it was like a big switch happened where it was like about going for stuff and strength. And so I got stronger there and I kind of began this new mentality of going for things. And as those two things kind of combined into strength and not being afraid of stuff, my tumbling started being better. So I would even say like level 9 is
Yeah.
when all of a sudden I could do a really beautiful double pike on the floor at a really young age. And it was, I was like, wow, I have power. And then vaulting same thing. It was kind of like being able to run down there kind of reckless. And I used to do like a souk tuck full at a young age. And it wasn't pretty, but it was powerful, you know. I didn't learn how to do technically things really great, but I realized that with strength and with just kind of that reckless abandonment of just going for stuff, I had a lot of power. And
Yeah.
so it did turn me into a different type of gymnast where I realized, hey, there's more there than just being able to dance and, you know, whatever, do things really nicely. It was kind of this fun new way of gymnastics.
Yeah.
And I realized, and I think my coach realized like, wow, she has some power in there.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. And as a kid first learning gymnastics, what were your favorite? Do you remember your first really big skill you learned that you went home and told your parents about? You're really excited about it?
Ooh. I mean, it probably was like a round up back handspring back tuck. I think
Hmm.
that was like my big like woo, you know, this is like real
Hmm.
gymnastics. You get to
Hmm.
fly in the air, and I think I did it like 6, which
Hmm.
I have a lot of 6-year-olds at my gym that can do it now. But I think it's just that thing of like flying in the air. You know, you get to really do something really, really fun. And I would, after learning that, you know, you would go to school and do it on the grass or in the middle of my soccer game that I would do. It was just like I just loved tumbling. But yeah, it probably was just like the backflip that I was super excited about.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like your rise um happened really fast, at least from the spectator's point of view and
Yeah.
publicly. And I'm just curious, did it feel fast on the inside or did it feel like it took forever?
No, it did feel very fast and very like um you know, when I went from like the USA gymnastics or not USA gymnastics, but the the what do you call it? Developmental program, so like
Hmm.
level 9.
Yeah.
And then when I went to gliders and we decided to go elite, I had no idea what that world was like and where I would stand in that world. So when I went to my first competition, I believe I won my first elite qualifier competition.
Hmm.
It was like, oh my God, I'm good. You know, and even like, wow,
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know I could have been last and I wouldn't have known, right? You don't know
Hmm.
until you go out there.
Yeah.
And so from then, it was like boom, 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 right? It was like a couple of elite qualifiers and then junior championships, and then like I won that. So that was like from there. And then I was on the Olympic Festival on TV, and I got attention for that. And then it was like, the next year was like US championships and stuff. So a lot of people like jumped on board pretty quickly without me really even winning much at all. You know what I mean? I mean, I did win some stuff, but it was, this was the year after the Olympics in 96.
Hmm.
So this is coming off of this huge Dominique Moceanu, all of these people, and that America Go USA, right?
Hmm.
It's like now what's next? Who's next? And I was just the one that they chose. Like, okay, so we're on this roll. We won the gold medal. Now who's next?
Who's the
And
future?
yeah, and I think that's just like who they jumped on me because that was winning a couple of things and um had the right personality, bubbly and things like that.
Hmm.
And I just liked to jump on it. And I did pretty quickly get like offers, right? Like the Reese's Cup commercial and just things that people wanted to interview me pretty fast. So to me, it did feel really fast. And I think it was. And it probably was part of a lot of the pressure. It was like a thing that just kind of jumped on me really quickly and was like, whoa. I wasn't really prepared for that,
Hmm.
even though I loved it,
Yeah.
who wouldn't love people really loving you and wanting to interview you. And it
Yeah.
was like I was 5.5 all over again, wanting attention and getting attention and going, wow, this is awesome. This is
Yeah.
awesome. But I don't think I saw the pressure creeping up on me at the time. So.
Do you think that pressure and that public pressure changed your relationship with the sport at all at any point?
Oh, I mean, for sure. I think it started turning it into something more than just fun. It
Hmm.
started becoming like, oh, this is actually very meaningful and
Hmm.
important to other people.
Hmm.
Just by people's reactions. I don't even think it's really nobody came up to me and said, this is important.
Right.
This is,
Right. Right. Right.
it
Hmm.
was just like, how could you not feel it important, and watching media stuff and putting my name out there, I think it just made it become something more than just a sport for me. And that's when, and I think everybody, by how they're raised, reacts differently to it. And for whatever reason, my reaction wasn't like, I didn't build confidence off of it. It was an automatic, oh no, what if I disappoint people?
Hmm.
I think that was my first kind of like, this isn't going to be good because they are all expecting me to like, I'm supposed to be like the person. I'm supposed to be the one, but I haven't really done a lot yet, or at least I felt I hadn't.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so it definitely did change the
Yeah.
sport for me.
I feel like that would be really tough being so young and so talented and the public eye being so on you and choosing you. Like they're choosing you as the
Yeah,
chosen one after this huge Olympics. And then of course, like I just feel like that had to be so pressure filled.
it
Um,
did. It did. But I didn't know it. I didn't know it until the time. And like I
yeah.
said, everybody can choose different ways to do it. I think if there was if it was Kristen Maloney, at the moment, I think that would have been she's a different athlete, different person than I am.
Mhm.
And who's to say what she would have done, but I think she just was more equipped in that area than I was.
1998 was a really big year for you.
Hmm.
It was a big year for you. And I tell us a little about that because you won a lot of medals in 1998.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that was just like my building year of really, this was still at the time, I think before my like huge bar problems started happening,
Mhm,
So
mhm.
it was just okay, 97, I'm somebody. This is awesome. And then this is when my confidence grew, I was able to kind of build off of this excitement that people had of me. And this was the happy time when I was like, wow, this is pretty awesome. This is what I've always wanted. I
Mhm.
want to be famous. I want to be the person. And before I noticed that the pressure was creeping. Oh, there's always some pressure here and there,
Sure, sure, sure.
but I think for the most part, it still was just a fun roller coaster ride, going up.
Yeah. Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, she is the all-around champion. You're the all-around champion from the US Nationals in 1997. So that
Yes.
was the precursor to you and this big year of 1998. And that, I mean, winning that national championship was huge because like you said, it was right after the 96 Olympics, which is the first time I ever watched gymnastics. It's when I fell in
Mhm.
love with gymnastics. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so you came along very early in my gymnastics loving career, and you looked like me. I looked like you. I was
Yeah.
like, I was a little blonde girl with, I was like, wait, I look like her. That's so cool. And
Yeah.
I just thought, I thought you were the coolest, and you are. I was correct. Okay,
Thank you.
so you were known for kind of liking difficult skills, quite frankly. You would throw difficult skills, and was that something that were you just a daredevil, or was it something your coaches were kind of asking of you, or what was it, a combination?
I think it was just certain events that I really felt confident in. Like I said,
Yeah.
it's like tumbling and um vault. I wasn't scared of anything. So yeah, so I think
Yeah.
I wasn't like I don't think I was a kid that was like, hey, let me try this, this, and this. It was like
Hmm.
more, I think more of my coaches were like, hey, I think you could do this. And I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, right. Beam, you could tell me to try anything on beam. I'm pretty much sure I was gonna try it. I was not scared of beam at all.
Hmm.
Competition was different. That was a different type of scared, right? You get
Sure.
nervous and things like that. But as far as going for skills, tell me something to try and I'll do it. Unless it was dismounts. Dismounts were a little scarier for me.
Hmm. Hmm.
But on the things on the beam or mounting onto the beam wasn't scary. Um, yeah, so and like I said, I think I learned that daredevilish stuff from when I was in at AV Twisters in my
Yeah.
compulsory optional career or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and I just loved feeling powerful, and I loved that feeling of just feeling your body feeling so great that you can just do these amazing things, and
Hmm.
also just being, I think, shocking your coaches and
Hmm.
impressing them with like, whoa, she can do that or whatever was a lot
Yeah.
of fun for me.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a positive.
One skill that looked terrifying to me that you did, you competed the Comanche release on
Yeah.
bars. That's terrifying to me. Was it as terrifying as it looks?
It's not. The funny part is I chose so like I said, the only thing that I was scared of really was bars. I was always scared of peeling off and I
Hmm.
was holding on for dear life. And when I first came to Steve, I could barely do a giant very well because I was scared of giants. And
Hmm.
so it took a long time for him to just correct a lot of my technique and just have like a base bar routine down. And then it was like, all right, now we got to come up with a release move.
Hmm.
And so my first release move was a Tkachev, which I was scared to death on that thing because you have to go over the top of the bar, which sounds insane to me.
And then
And
catch
that's hard.
it.
And then catch it. And it was just like, I didn't even care about catching it. I'd be like, I just want to get over this thing. I don't want to hit my butt on it
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
who knows what's going to happen. It just seems so crazy to just tell yourself to throw the bar behind you
Yeah.
and then pray that you go backwards. I don't know. So that took me a while to get over. And then as I grew as an elite, it was like, well, now we need more bonuses. We got to figure out something. And
Hmm.
there wasn't a lot of choices for me. I wasn't, like I said, I had a very base bar routine. It was a struggle to get me to do anything because I was just scared of everything. And it was like, Steve's checking things off the list, like, can't do that, can't do that. And I am
Yeah.
the one that suggested the Komanichi because you don't have to go over the bar at all. You don't even have to go higher than the bar, really. You just
Hmm.
like push away and
Hmm.
flip.
Hmm.
And so I really was the one that suggested this move because I thought it wouldn't be too scary to do. And when I first was doing it, it was a little scary, but at least I
Hmm.
could push far, far away in the pit, and flip
Yeah.
over and finally go, okay, and then I can just like baby step and work my way closer. So I got it down pretty decent, but the part that I didn't realize is when you combine it with the Tkachev in front of it, and then have to kip and immediately go. The bar movement when you catch on the Tkachev would always be different when you catch the Tkachev, whether it's pulling back or pulling forward or pulling down. And so when you kip into that Komanichi, it can throw you into different directions. It can go up, it can go back. And so the timing for me was really hard to understand. And again, my biggest fear was hitting my face on the bar or getting too close.
Hmm.
And so when you have that fear, it's you still have to catch the bar. So it was always this war between getting a little too close or being a little too far away. And
Yeah.
and the timing, like I said, was always different depending on how I caught my Tkachev. So was it scary? Comparable to most release moves? I don't think so. But maybe to you it might seem like that, or maybe to other people. But to me, I felt like the safest, easiest thing for me to do is just dump over and do a flip-a-do and then catch
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So.
I love that. To me, as a, non-high level athlete, I it looked terrifying to me. But also Jaegers look terrifying to me. Like any kind of release move looks terrifying to me because
Yes,
it's
I
like
agree.
I have so much respect for you athletes because judges are asking a lot of you because okay, you're flipping, but you got to catch. But you can't just
You're right.
catch because if you catch too close, that's a deduction.
Yeah,
If you are too far, you're gonna not catch it. There's a
yeah.
lot that goes into it, and so I just
It's
release
just
more.
numbers. I think that's the biggest thing is, you do so many that it is ingrained of like when you let go and how like people doing Jaegers now. I mean, just every single college athlete, just gorgeous and catching in the exact right spot every time
Yep.
because they've been doing a kabillion of them a day. It's like this
Yeah.
is like nothing for them. It's like doing a kip. So yeah,
Mhm.
a lot of the stuff with timing and catching seems so impossible, but after doing it so many times and falling so many times. I think it's just kind of, but and you know what? That was the same for me on a Tkachev. I could catch that thing all the time, but doing the Komanichi timing was so difficult for me. And yeah, a lot of people go like, well, why don't you do something else? There really wasn't a lot of choices. I mean, when I went to Woga, Valeri changed it and did a lot of pirouetting work, which helped a lot.
Mhm.
He was so great with all of that pirouetting stuff, that I was able to kind of put together something. Um, but I think it was too late by then to where I already just had some mental things. But it was hard. It was hard for a lot of coaches. I think we're trying to help Steven trying to figure out what I could do, and there was
Mm.
there wasn't a
Yeah.
lot to it.
Yeah, and that has to be stressful too as an athlete because well, you talked about how you weren't as confident on bars. You had, some mental stuff going on, and then of course there's, the public is projecting whatever they want to project onto you at a young age with bars, and that has to be difficult for a young mind, I would imagine. Or not
Oh
help.
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it didn't, but that's part of the sport, right? It's
Right.
something that I think at any level everyone has to deal with. It's like, I mean, obviously there's added pressure and things like that. But as far as just being able to find skills that you feel comfortable with, that fit you, fit your body, fit just the ta type of talent that you have. We're always as athletes trying to pick and choose that right skill for you. And it is a lot of pressure sometimes because whether you're trying to go to the Olympics or you're trying to get a college scholarship and impress those coaches, it's a lot of pressure as you get higher up there.
Yeah. That kind of ties into this question, but I I wonder in building confidence for an athlete, is picking the right skills like what you're talking about, is that a huge piece of building confidence? Like finding the
Sure.
right skills that you can hit no matter what. I imagine that would be a long journey to discover with trial and
Yeah.
error. But is that something that really helps your confidence? Like when you find a skill that you're like, okay, yes, I'm
Yeah.
good with this.
But I think the better your foundation and basics are, the more choices you have. And I
Mm,
think that's why it's so important. Obviously we're stuck with who we are at some
yeah,
point, and you might have some limits, but you will have a lot more limits if you're not taught the right basics from the beginning. And that's why it's so important in those compulsory levels or whatever you're doing at the beginning of your career to have the right stuff because at some point you have such bad habits that your choices start dwindling down. If your flexibility isn't there, so many skills you can't do. If your
yeah,
strength isn't there, there's so many skills you can't do. If you don't understand a good round off or whatever it is, a good back handspring step out on the beam,
yeah,
if you've created bad habits and have rushed through things, your confidence will start be going down because you really don't have that many choices.
yeah,
And so you're hoping that that's done well. And then, I mean, that's what optionals is for. And then you have this code of points to go, "Ooh, what will be the best skill for me?" But a lot of times, the basics aren't done well. So then, like I said, you got like two choices to work with and
right.
better hope that you're not too afraid to do, do that skill. So we're
Yeah.
always trying to reach for those good basics.
Yeah, it sounds like to me that's a huge part of kind of what you teach as well at your gym, or it sounds like an emphasis maybe that you have is on good technique and basics. Is
Well,
is
yeah.
that true?
Yeah, for sure. But I think there's always, I would say if you're comparing my gym to like, I don't know, Woga or something like that, which are that is the epitome, right? Gliders, whatever it is, what are those top gyms?
Mm-hmm.
That is their thing, right? Great basics in doing things over and over again to where it's so ingrained that when you get up there, you can do anything. And that's why these gyms produce elites over them. But also what I do know is a lot of hard work
Yeah.
and it's a lot of hours to be able to get so good at those things that happens. And my philosophy is I'm not trying to make Olympians at my gym. What I'm trying to do is be able to have confident athletes that love themselves, believe in themselves, and if you using gymnastics to be able to be better people later on, you know what I mean, and be able to have more resilience and things like that. So my kids aren't going to go far if they don't have basics, right? If they don't have good basics. But I have a boundary and I have kind of for my gym, uh, what's the priority for me? And every gym has a different priority of what that
Yeah.
is. And mine is always, how is this sport going to make them a better person and help them get through life better? Um, and if I don't teach good basics, they're not going to get very far to be able to learn those things. So that has to be there. And I'm glad that I had that background of good gymnastics so I can teach that. But I
Yeah.
also am not going to have them there 10 hours a day drilling something over and over again. If I can tell they're getting bored, hey, you know what? Let's go chuck some double backs into the pit for funsies. And even though
Mhm.
we don't have the perfect basics right now, today let's have fun and go
Yeah.
jump on trampoline, do that or whatever. So for me, there's a little bit of a balance there.
Yeah.
Um, that I just enjoy coaching when kids are having a blast doing stuff. And sometimes when you have to do things over and over again, it's hard to make that super fun.
Yeah. One thing I notice about your gym too is you throw some skills still too. I
Well,
love that.
Yes, I started doing that not too long ago. I was talking to someone and they had suggested, "Hey, why don't you start doing like some like can Vanessa do her old skills?" I'm like, "That's such a great idea. I'll do." And and I'm thinking like what I first started with was my little drop down to my knees on the beam,
Hmm.
little tiny dance skills and stuff. And for some reason, just because I started working out again, I was like, "Hey, I bet I could do a back handspring or whatever." So it's been a lot of fun. There's a limit to how much I can do.
Hmm.
Um, but just being able to do stuff again still at like, 43 years old, I'm like, hey, I feel good. I'm glad that wasn't when I was 18, that wasn't the last time I did a back handspring on the beam or whatever.
Yeah.
But the kids have a lot of fun when they see me doing it, and I think it encourages them to go, "Oh my, she's 43 and can still do this. I can do this." So it's
It
kind of fun.
encourages me as well. It inspires me as well because I said I'm 35 and last year I started adult gymnastics for the first time.
Nice. Oh, I'm so good. I'm so
I
happy. I'm so happy
I
for you.
Thank you. I just want to thank you for,
Oh,
you are such a beautiful example of what it means or of what perseverance looks like, one, and two, of what it means to just be a good human being.
oh,
And that's why I made this podcast is I say this in almost every podcast or episode, but I want to bring positivity and kindness into the sport of gymnastics that is historically so scrutinized and picked apart.
yeah.
And the athletes work really hard and do these incredible things. And I feel like so many negative things are talked about instead of, okay, they fell on their back handspring lay, but like that standing Arabian though, or
Right?
their full turn, or what, like,
Yeah.
let's talk about what is incredible about what they're doing instead of
Yeah.
harping on what they did wrong.
Yeah, no,
Um,
and I think so many athletes would appreciate that. I think that's a hard part when you work so hard and then, you're doing all of these amazing things and yeah, they tend to the person sitting on the couch eating the popcorn off their belly is, talking about how silly they fell on a full turn or
mhm.
something.
Exactly. Yeah. And so you really have, I know I'm not the only one that you've inspired, but just your attitude and the way that you are kind to your athletes. I've not been to your gym, but just seeing the posts on social media and they all seem so happy to be
Mm.
there and like they're having the best time. And I mean, to learn from Vanessa Atler is probably the coolest thing ever, you know.
They don't care at all.
Well, I would care.
I hope so. I hope they're happy. And I mean, that's my favorite part. And I think I shouldn't say it's a flaw of mine as a coach, but I think my favorite part is just talking with them and having fun,
Yeah.
especially like the teenagers. Um, they say a lot, just like being a parent, you don't want to be their friend constantly, but it's like, I feel like it's another outlet for the kids, right? You
Yeah.
come to the gym and if you're able to talk to your coach and talk about something that happened at school, that's my favorite part.
Mhm.
And so like, oops, we've been talking too long about this new boy that you like instead of working on our round-offs. That's a problem that I have. But I think that's why they enjoy coming. You know what I mean? It's like even if they're struggling, if they enjoy you as a coach and that you're not judging them on them having a bad day and that the next day you come in, it's a clean slate and we just keep trying our best. That's what keeps the love for the sport and keeps them coming back,
Yeah.
And so it's we're always going to have hard times and struggle, but you know, it's the feeling comfortable to come back into gym and still feeling good about yourself, whether you're doing horrible that season or that day or whatever, and not feeling judged for what kind of athlete you are.
Yeah. What advice do you give to your athletes who are afraid of going backwards because this is a question for myself, what is the best way to approach overcoming something like that?
Well, I think it's everyone's different. So sometimes it's what's the fear? Is there a fear because there is a lack of some sort of basic baby step that's before the thing you're trying to do?
Hmm.
Or is it just a natural, like you have all of those things totally correct and it's that the fear of going? So obviously if it's like a basic thing, if like maybe the shoulder flexibility isn't all the way there, so there's not a lot of support when your hands do touch, so you're scared to land on your head or something.
Hmm. Hmm.
If there's things like that, then either A, it's not the skill for you to do, or B, we have to work on that part, right? We have to work on good handstand holds or things that make you feel comfortable. Like, yeah, even if I jump straight up in the air and land on my hands, I'm strong enough to hold myself up and not fall on my head or whatever. And
Hmm.
then if it's some kids are afraid of going backwards because of the power, so it's scary to go fast, and that means that we've rushed too fast to that next step. So usually fear is going too fast into something we're not quite feeling ready. And everybody has that a different limit of what's too fast for them.
Right.
Some kids can do one round of back handspring on the tumble track and go like, well, I could do this on the floor right now. And then they go to the floor. And some
Yeah.
kids, they need, 6 months of just still doing it on the tumble track for them to go, I feel ready now.
Mhm.
And that's what I think it's important as a coach to remind everyone's different and to remind them that just because Sally is doing a round of back handspring on the floor doesn't mean you have to do that right now. I
Yeah.
can tell you're not feeling ready. Let's stick with the tumble track and you tell me when you're ready. I
Yeah.
think that's most important is going, I feel, I don't feel ready yet. Okay, let's not do it. And then like maybe there's another step that we can find from the tumble track or the trampoline to the floor that's an in between
Hmm.
that gives you a little bit of, I call them the heebie-jeebies, like a little bit of the heebie-jeebies, but enough for you to still go, you
Hmm.
know? Because I
Yeah.
think what it's important for kids and parents and coaches to know is you're never really gonna, when you're learning a new trick, feel completely confident 100%, right?
Yeah.
But you have to limit that question or that fear to a very small amount that they can handle, right? And so if this for them feels like a 10 on the scale of fear, there's no baby steps we've done in between that to make something very small. So you have to be very creative as a coach because every kid's different, like I said. So those baby steps might have to be cut even smaller for some athletes and some not so much. And you can, try it out. And I think the big thing is a lot of kids, which is great in my gym. We do all these baby steps and all of those things, but I
Hmm.
think for them to understand that is the comparing and parents comparing and going, well, you know, how come you let so and so go on the floor and do a round of back handspring back tuck, but you're not letting her do it? She doesn't feel ready yet, and that's okay. Well, how come she doesn't feel ready yet? I don't know.
She's
She just
different
doesn't.
than the other
Yeah, yeah,
person.
exactly. And that's okay. And as long as that kid knows it's okay, then things don't become a big deal. But when it feels like a big deal, this fear, it grows bigger and bigger. So a lot of times I tell parents, don't even, if they're having a fear, don't even ask them. They come home, don't go, how was your run of back handspring today? Did you go for it? That's the worst thing that they can do because this is important to my mom too. That
Hmm.
makes it even, everybody knows about you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
forget about it. And you'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. I love you no matter what. It has to be like that because if it's already big to you and then it feels big to other people also on top of it, this thing becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. So we're just trying to keep that small and manageable for kids and for them to be like, oh, this is not a big deal. My coach doesn't think it's a big deal. I'm going to stay here for a little bit longer until I feel ready. And if they start seeing that process happening every time they get to scary skills,
Hmm.
they'll understand that, oh, this is the process that happens. I'm a little scared of this. Vanessa's going to let me take my time on this. So
Yeah.
that's my biggest thing is don't rush and be kind to yourself and
Yeah.
take your time when you feel ready.
Yeah, they're so lucky to have you. Not even because you're the Vanessa Atler, but because you're a kind human.
Oh,
And
thank you.
it seems like, and tell me if I'm wrong, but you went through a lot as an elite athlete, and it seems like that might have molded you into the coach that you are today and really informed the way that you do coach.
Yeah, for sure. In positive and negative ways, right? So there was a lot of positive things that I had in my sport that I take from and of why I coach the way I coach. And then there's a lot of negative things of what I have that I've come and when I don't want to do it that way.
Mm.
But I think as all people, same thing as when you're a parent, um, when you don't know the step to do and you only know what you were taught, it is easy to go into those cycles or whatever. So like for an example, give you an example of when I was an athlete a lot of times didn't matter which coach it was in my career. Well, once I got to elite, all of the coaches in my elite career were always act different when I went to competitions. It was always much more serious and much more intense, which scared the crap out of me. It was always
Yeah.
like, I'm nervous. You're making me nervous.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they just could tell it was super important to them. It's kind of like what we are talking about with fear. It's like, oh, this
Mhm.
is important to you. That's scary for me.
Yeah.
Um, and so when I coach and I go to meets, I'm very much that way. I'm aware of it, but it's very hard for me to not be serious. So like let's say a girl's vaulting and all of a sudden she doesn't have her steps on the vault or something and she's
Yeah.
running by. It's very hard for me not to get upset. Like internally I'm like, "What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you freaking out? Be normal."
Yeah, yeah.
And I know that about me, and so it is very very difficult for me to be like, hey, no, no big deal. And sometimes when I have a hard time controlling that, I have to go to my coach. I have my partner, Kate,
Hmm.
who does the two other events. She is so great. Like I don't know what it is, but she's just like, she doesn't bother her. She's
Hmm.
competitive, but just in a different way to where she's able to control her emotions and just it doesn't bother her that much. And it's probably why I'm the athlete I was as far as taking things so seriously and things feeling a lot of pressure to me. It just maybe I
Yeah.
learned that from my coaches or whatever.
Hmm.
But it's just so I always just be like, Kate, can you just go talk to her right now before I lose it?
Because I'm freaking out.
Yeah, I'm freaking out right now. And I think so, like I said, it is difficult, but you have to really work on it.
Yeah.
And I have to have tools to know when I feel that way, what do I do? I have to breathe. What are the words I need to say to them so they can't tell that I'm nervous or freaking out. So it still takes a lot of work. I think it's just, I'm not perfect. But I do realize that there's a lot of things the way that I was coached, that words and things that I say come out of my mouth
Hmm.
that I'm just used to saying because of how I was taught.
Yeah, but at least you're aware, you're
Yeah.
self-aware of that, and you're sounds like trying to deconstruct that.
Yes.
And that's all we can do, right?
That's all you can.
We all go through things that inform us and mold us into the person that we are in good ways and bad.
Yeah.
And I think it's our responsibility to be self-aware of
Hmm.
when that is happening, when something negative maybe that we went through or trauma that we went through is bringing something up negative within us and we're reacting in a negative way. As human beings, like being a coach or athlete aside, like it's our job to work every day on things like that. To
Oh,
notice like, hey, you know what? This is something that comes up in me when I am uh feeling afraid or when I get upset and I know it stems from that. I got to work on that. Like,
yes.
I think it's important to always work on ourselves.
For sure. And I think there's a lot of coaches out there that are always doing that. And I'm so happy that we have coaches like that. And then I think there's also others that are not aware. It's sometimes that's a cycle too, where you're just doing these things because that's the way you've always done it, and
Correct.
you're not aware. And that's why I encourage a lot from parents to tell their kids to communicate. Now, you might be at a gym where communication is not great, right? You're not allowed to tell them how you feel. But I think nowadays it's gotten so much better.
Hmm.
But there's still fear to tell somebody like, oh, I'm hurt or I'm scared of this. And I think it's a big thing for parents to teach their kids to create that relationship between the coach and the athlete and tell them, hey, it didn't really make me feel great when you said this, always in a respectful way. I think
Yeah.
sometimes we miss that
Hmm.
part. Yes, we want to teach our kids to say their feelings, but
Yeah.
in a respectful way.
Yeah,
Um,
and be
yeah,
empowered to do that. Yeah,
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 for
it's huge.
sure. It's easier as a coach to know what is going on in your athlete's head. It's very
Mhm.
difficult to have to guess and try to figure it out. So,
Yeah,
so if we can all be on, those three main people, right? The parent, the coach, and the athlete all on board and really communicating well will only help the athlete.
absolutely. And gymnastics culture has changed significantly in recent years and in past years, but more so recently. And I'm just curious, as someone who has been through the system and been around the system for such a long time, what stands out to you the most about the culture shift?
Well, there's a lot, right? There's a lot of different ones. So there's really, I would say the majority of it is all positive, and there's a
Yes.
little bit of negative. And obviously, I think this all came out when the whole Larry Nassar stuff came out, right?
Hmm.
We finally, athletes felt comfortable saying, hey, this was not okay. And then when that happened, we started looking at other things, and adults said, well, also, my coach did this, and that's
Hmm.
totally wrong. Like,
Yeah.
that's awful. And, so people started speaking out.
Hmm.
And there just became this thing that it is okay to speak out about things that had happened and really call people out in their places and get people to change. And I think it's the only way that change can happen, right? You make people aware of it and speak
Yeah.
out. And so I'm so proud of every athlete that has done that. I think Also, when things like that happen, the pendulum swings all the way to the other side, right? And then what we have is a very difficult time for coaches to teach kids how to push through things and work hard, right?
Mm,
So it's one of my favorite things about the sport is falling down and getting back up. But
mhm,
now it has to be all about the athlete, right? And so what I mean by that is we no longer as coaches, or it's a lot harder as coaches to teach your athlete that I know you can do more.
mm,
And that's why I'm here is to show you you can push a little bit. It might be hard, but you
mm,
can push a little bit. And it's our job to figure out what is too far and where's that. But there has to be struggle for
mm,
them to grow. And sometimes I think a lot of our kids nowadays don't know how to struggle because whereas parents are so protective over this struggle and wanting them to life to be easy because it was so hard for us
mhm,
that now they don't know or are not confident enough to be able to do some stuff on their own and that struggle is a part of it. Struggle's okay.
mhm.
Struggle's okay.
Yeah.
Being sad is okay. Having a hard day is okay. We can't jump in and fix it for them or they won't know how to do it on their own when they're
Yeah.
older.
Mm,
So I think we're getting there. I think it whoo went way all the way to the other side to where now, athletes, it's hard to push them to really work hard, and we're getting back to, that good boundary, right? It always has to kind of go one way, make sure we get all the bad guys out of there. And
mm,
now, we still need this sport or just sports in general to teach kids how to, this is why we have sports, is
mm.
to teach you how to have some grit and push through some stuff.
Yeah,
So, um,
absolutely.
yeah, anyways.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with how, the culture has changed so much. And I can't speak from a coaching perspective at all. So that's why I love hearing
Sure.
your perspective on that. But as a viewer, I love how the culture has shifted so much in the sense that the athletes really feel or seem like so many of them are having fun now, and
Yeah,
obviously it is, they're serious and they're locked in, but I feel like Simone too. I was talking about this with my friends, but Simone really changed the culture too in the sense that she's always been rooting for other athletes from day one.
yeah,
Like, you can hear her at any all-around final that she's competing against these people,
yeah,
and they'll be on beam and she's like, "You got it. Come on." And she's rooting for them
yeah,
and like genuinely wants them to hit and do their best.
yeah.
And I think that is so beautiful because we haven't always seen
No.
that.
Oh my God. I remember in like the 90s. So, yeah, when I would watch right from like 92 to 96,
Hmm.
those athletes, Dominique Dawes, Mogianu, Miller, they were so competitive against each other. They weren't talking to each other at all. It
Hmm.
was like, don't talk to your athlete, and it
Hmm.
was almost scary. It was just, and it was the
Yeah.
first time when the team won that it was like afterwards they like got to know each other more. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
But even before that, before that, it was just this scary, like you don't even look at each other type of thing. And I think when we started coming on, me, Jamie, Maloney and stuff, we
Hmm.
started having some more friendships and things were allowed a little bit more, felt like it was allowed more to talk and stuff.
Hmm.
But as social media has grown, we also get to know the identity of these people as real people.
Hmm.
And I think it's been able for them to voice who they are and how they feel. And we can connect with them so much more than ever before. But you are so right. I think Simone Biles and Jordan Childs and
Yes.
just seeing the camaraderie and friendships that are happening
Yes.
makes gymnastics so much more special than it ever has been because
Hmm.
that was not a part of gymnastics before,
Yeah.
and you're right, they have so much more fun and we do not want to lose that.
No, absolutely not. So I want to ask you a couple questions, Vanessa, outside of gymnastics.
Okay.
What is your favorite movie?
Ooh, God, that's a hard one. Okay.
It doesn't, if you need to name a couple, it's okay.
Okay. So I like the old stuff. So
Me too.
okay. I like Stand By Me. I
Hmm.
like The Goonies.
Love the
I
Goonies.
love Never Ending Story.
Hmm.
And then I like all the classical like Disney stuff that I still watch when I'm
Yeah.
by myself, which is like Pinocchio and Dumbo and like
Those are
Cinderella.
terrifying, Vanessa. They scare me.
I
Oh,
actually used to always get scared of Pinocchio, but now
it's
like I'm
scary.
watching, love it.
Yeah.
They
It's a
are
great
scary
choice.
ones though, you're right.
They're like the darkest Disney movies.
They are. I know like Dumbo, the part where the mom goes to jail or whatever,
Yes,
and she's like crying. It's so sad.
it's so
But
sad.
I think it's like just a weird, like making me feel safe of watching like old movies that I used to watch all the time
Yeah.
over again. But
Like a
yeah.
comfort, like an emotional support kind of
Yeah.
movie or something. Yeah, I'm a movie nerd. So I'm a gym nerd
Nice.
and I'm a movie nerd.
And you're
And
moving.
yeah, those are I don't watch TV that much. I either
Uh,
watch a movie or I'm watching gym. Like
okay.
there is no in between for me.
That's so funny.
But yeah, those are great choices. Okay, so music. What kind of music do you listen to? Who are some of your favorite artists right now?
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm very typical, like what's trendy and stuff.
Hmm.
I think I'm gonna be like when I'm 90, like, oh, this is like the new song, and I'm really
Hmm.
into it.
Hmm.
I do like oldies, right? Like a really oldies, like 50s,
Yeah.
60s type stuff and like I'm a Beatles fan.
Hmm.
But
Me
for the
too.
most part, like right now, I love who am I listening to? It's usually just whatever the trendy song is. So the Taylor Swift song Ophelia.
Yes, I
Um,
saw
yeah.
your video that you
I'm like
made, which
obsessed with
is
that just because I'm watching
so
TikTok and that's what I'm doing.
wonderful.
Olivia Rodriguez, like my daughter loves her, so like I
Hmm.
like her songs.
Hmm.
What's that song? Ordinary by I don't even know what his name is. But
I don't
it's
either.
like
Yeah.
whatever's in the top 10, I'm obsessed with.
Do you like
Back
Olivia Dean right now?
what song's that? What does she sing?
She sings like she's a I believe she's British and she
Okay.
sings like these love songs. Hold on one second. Let
Is she
me.
on TikTok?
Yeah, she's on TikTok. She sings the man, "Come be the man I need. I ain't got someone to give. I got it."
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
talking about?
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not a singer, so you
No,
know.
no, no, no. That was
Yeah.
great. No, I was laughing because I was trying to figure out like, wait, do I know what that is? But then the last part that you're singing, that makes sense. Yes, sure. So yeah, whatever's in like the top 10. And then I'll say like my very like when I was younger, my three top people were always Madonna, Whitney Houston, and then Britney Spears. That was like
Mm,
still a Britney Spears fan,
me
even though
too.
I'm rooting for her constantly.
Me too. Did you see this is gymnastics related and I was not planning on asking this, but since you brought up Britney Spears, did you see Ashley Sullivan's Britney Spears floor routine at UCLA?
No.
Oh my gosh, she's doing
Is
a
it just
Britney Spears.
recently?
Yeah, I just saw it at
Oh,
the
where they
Meet the
showcase
Bruins.
like their floor routines. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Oh,
They haven't
wow. Okay.
competed. They're competing today, but
Oh, okay, okay.
Ashley has a Britney Spears floor routine, and she does like Britney Spears like
Is it like a
choreography.
compilation of her stuff or one
It's like
song?
there's a compilation of it. It's yeah, it's so good.
I
It's
love it.
so good, and she
Okay, great.
sells it. But I
Oh,
love Britney
perfect.
Spears, and Whitney
Yeah.
Houston to me is like the greatest singer of all time.
Oh, oh my God.
So
I was
good.
just listening to what is it? I don't know, Dance with Me. I forgot what
Oh
this.
yeah,
But
so
oh
good.
my God, just like I remember when I was like on preteen dance to this song, I was just in love with it. But yeah, those are
Iconic.
I'm pretty
Love.
trendy.
Yeah, I love that about you. What are your hobbies outside of gymnastics?
Okay, my new hobbies. Well, right now, so I really don't have many hobbies, and my husband's like, "You need to find a hobby," and I'm like, "Okay," and it's always me searching for something to do. But I have just recently got like addicted to crocheting now,
Oh,
and I'm
yeah.
like, I just want to get home from work and just like crochet all day. That's all I'm doing. So right now I'm doing like a blanket, and I did like a cute a beanie or yeah, a beanie and a scarf for my aunt for Christmas and stuff. So I'm just like
Cute.
in the new world of crocheting. And then I kind of started getting into hot yoga, which is really fun.
Mm.
Yeah, and makes you feel really flexible because you're like
Oh,
in a hot room and you're like, oh
yeah,
my
yeah,
God,
yeah. You're
still
not
flexible.
like super tight. You're loose.
Right. You're like, exactly. And then probably just like cooking. I love cooking.
Oh,
So
what do you love to cook?
well, I am so I'm a cookbook fanatic. So like I will buy a new cookbook and then I'll take it home and I'll be like, I am going to do every recipe in this book from the beginning to the end. And then I
Mhm.
get through like three recipes and then I'm like, I need a new cookbook now. I move on to the next one.
Sounds like
So
a problem, Vanessa.
it is. My husband's like, not another cookbook. And I'm like, hey, you get some good meals out of this, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, he should not complain.
But
I
yeah, I
I
just
love
I
that.
enjoy like doing like the mom stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Stuff for the cleaning.
I recently got into cooking. I've never been a big cooker,
Yeah,
chef.
yeah, yeah.
I
Sure.
haven't. My husband, however, is very good cook.
So is
Very, very good
mine.
cook.
Yeah,
And I get a little insecure when I cook for him
me
because I'm
too.
like, he's so good. And like
Yeah.
I just
Same
but
girl.
he
That's
always loves
exactly.
when I cook for him, but
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same. And he loves everything I cook for him, but it's a little intimidating sometimes to like have him eat it because he's
yeah.
yeah. And when he always tells me this nightmare thing of like when I first was dating him and I was like, oh, I'm gonna invite him to my apartment and make like chicken, oh no, just like shrimp scampi or something. I don't know.
Mhm.
And it was like the shrimp were like overcooked. It was just awful.
Oh no.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm never gonna cook for you again. But now I don't care what he says anymore. I just like doing it.
You just like to do
And
it.
it's for my kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, this last section is the final 10, and it's just the last 10 questions, and I ask every guest that comes on my podcast
Okay,
these
fun.
same questions so we can like see how similar we are, how different we are. So, okay, what gym sound or noise do you love?
Um, the when people are tumbling on the floor. So like
Mhm.
when, especially like at meets when you have the microphone on the floor and you hear that like that.
Yep. Yeah, especially like a good punch. I love that
Yeah.
sound. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What is a gym noise or sound you hate?
The when the bars rattle when you peel off the bar.
Everyone has said something related to bars.
That's so funny. Or
Yeah.
I guess when somebody splits the beam, that sounds fun.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And beam bites look so awful.
Oh, I know.
Oh, they
Horrible.
look painful. Let's see. What brings you to life creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
My kids.
Oh, I
My
love that.
kids.
How many
Most
do you
definitely.
have?
Two. I have a 7-year-old daughter and well, she's gonna be 8 and my son's gonna be 12.
Nice. Very cool. Are they athletes or are they creative? What are they into?
My girl does River, her name's River. She does gymnastics. So
Hmm.
she just moved up to level 4 come January. So she had her first workout and I'm coaching her on beam and floor. So
Oh, mom's
that's fun for
coaching.
me. Yeah, so that'll be exciting. And then my son does fencing and rock climbing.
How cool.
Yeah, he's a super cool kid. He's just very creative and has a old soul kind of
Yeah.
spirit in him.
Mhm.
And yeah, he's an amazing kid. So yeah, he does fencing and rock climbing.
I
So
love that. Very cool. If you could steal and replicate one, like a skill that another gymnast does very well, doesn't have to be named after them, but just a skill they do very well. If you could steal it and replicate it, whose would it be?
Kim Semeskel's whip 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 back handspring double back or whatever. That's like
Love
my
that.
favorite iconic tumbling pass.
Love. I love that. Um, do you have a guilty pleasure TV show by chance?
Oh God, Love Island.
I love Love Island.
Okay.
I love Love
I
Island.
get so embarrassed to tell people, but yeah, I'm any of those like reality shows I get like I'll switch off on stuff. So that's that or like Love is Blind, things
Yeah,
like
yeah. Are you an Alandria fan?
oh yeah,
I love
of
Alandria.
course. Of
Love
course.
Alandria. She's so beautiful.
I know.
She's
They're
literally a
all beautiful.
Barbie. They are all beautiful.
It's like are these people real or
No,
what? But
truly.
I think sometimes too just it makes me feel so great that like the relationship part of hunting and finding that is over for me and I get to just not worry or stress like we have a great marriage and I just love it and then to watch
Hmm.
other people stress and have anxiety about finding somebody and just the stupid things they say it's just like it's fun to sit back and watch and be like huh
Yes.
thank God I don't have to date or
I
anything
get
anymore.
it. My husband and I have been married. We're going on 11 years. So,
Nice. We just had our 10 years not
Oh
too
my
long ago.
gosh,
Yeah.
congrats. It's such
Yeah.
a big milestone.
It is. It
Yeah.
is.
It's
Awesome.
fun, and you're right. It's like what I love when I watch those shows. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I'm not. I tell my husband, I'm like, if you ever leave me, ooh, I'm not going to date, and I'm
Oh
not
no,
going to
I'm just
date
gonna be
ever
at home
again.
crocheting. That's all I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm just gonna get me and my best friends. We'll huddle up in a house somewhere, watch gym, and just do our thing because I'm not gonna put myself out
It's a
there
crazy
anymore.
world out there, that's
It
for
really is. Okay, this is a hard question, but it's one of my
sure.
favorite questions to ask all of my guests. Who is on your gymnastics Mount Rushmore? Your top four of all time?
All right, Kim Semeskel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got you have to put Simone Biles in there,
Mm-hmm.
Allie Raisman,
Mm-hmm.
and Kayla Maroney.
Oh, I love that list. That's a
Yeah.
great one. Yeah. Do you want to know something? Almost everyone, of course, everyone said Simone, but almost everyone has added Allie as well.
Oh, she just, I think it's also because she's a great person.
She is. She's
You
a
know, and
great
she's done a
human.
lot for gymnastics, but
Mm-hmm.
and so like the gymnastics side, she's what I love, which is like just a feisty, strong, pulls
Mm-hmm.
out things out of her butt. Like you just like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, she can just do
Yeah.
it. And when she came back for the second Olympics,
Oh,
I was bawling my eyes out. Forget about, and she's her floor routine. She has her emotions out, and I love when athletes are out there and they're crying because they just overwhelmed and just,
yeah.
all of the work that she put into it. So
She looked
very
even
sad.
better. She looked
Yeah.
even better in
Oh, she
Rio than
was.
she did in London, and she was
Oh,
incredible in
and
London.
it's so hard to do a comeback. There's not been too many successful ones, and just
No.
her doing that was amazing. And then afterwards, all of the things that she's done for gymnastics
Yeah.
and who she is as a person is amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Love that list. If you were reincarnated as an animal, what animal would you be?
A sloth.
I can see that. But like not in a bad way, but like you could be the cutest little sloth.
I just like that there's no expectation of them having to move fast or do get things
But like
done.
you're
I
that's
would
the
just
funniest thing is because you were this high level flipper, tumbler, quick twister, all the things, and you're like a
yeah.
sloth, the slowest animal on the planet. Just
I think it's like, yeah, there's that expectation of because that's who I was as an athlete. I also always have this expectation of like trying to like move fast and get things
yeah.
done. And it's the hardest thing for me to do is to calm down and slow down, I think, and not have to get 50 million things done in one day. And so I would
Mhm.
love to be a sloth. I don't think I am a sloth, but I would love to
Yeah.
be reincarnated into one
Yeah.
because there's no expectation and I can just enjoy life. And they look so happy.
They do. They're adorable too.
Yeah.
I have a big stuffed sloth that my husband got me from the
Oh,
then I live in Nashville, and
okay.
so we went to the Nashville Zoo, and I got this big giant stuffed sloth. I'm obsessed with sloths. So I
Me
love that
too.
you said sloth.
I am too. I am too. That's
Okay,
so
last question.
okay.
And I think it's an important one. For all of my guests, looking back, what would young Vanessa Atler be most proud of right now?
Hmm. I think how I've healed myself. I
Mm,
think that's most of all. And I think if young Vanessa also was able to see like what had happened at the end, if we're at that stage
yeah.
and seeing that I feel like I overcame a lot by myself. And what I mean by that is I made really, I think, smart decisions and adult decisions because I knew I was hurt a lot and had a lot of work to be done and that I did that work on my own. You
Yeah.
know. I mean, obviously I got help from people, but I
Sure.
made choices to seek out people to heal. And
Yeah.
because I think the last thing that I want in life is to be walking around angry and upset. I got one life to live and I want to be happy and positive and I think everybody, who've done those studies or know that there's, two people living the same life and it's all the way that you look at it
Yeah.
about how you feel your life went. And I have so many positive, amazing things that happened in my life. And it's a blessing that I was able to do gymnastics and all of the things that I got to do and the experiences that I had that nobody else gets to experience.
Yeah.
I choose to look at that stuff and I don't think you hold anything in. I think it's great to speak out about things that you went through. And I think I've done that also to help change the sport or help other people that have gone through that. But I think after that's done, you got to move on and you have to look at the great things that have happened. And I've had a great life and I am excited to live more. And so I think talking to that young athlete or that young girl, I think she would be appreciative that I've helped her grow into a better adult and that you can do hard things and you can struggle and have something hard happen and you're going to be okay.
I love that. That's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, the whole reason I made this podcast is, like I said, I wanted to bring kind of some positivity, but also I wanted to create a space where athletes and my guests could come on and yes, of course, I want to talk gym. We talk gym, but like I want to get to know you as a person. I want to see who you are, as a human being, because I think it's easy for some people to watch people on TV and prescribe their
Yeah.
ideas of who that person is based off of what they see on TV or what they hear or what they read on the internet. And so I thought that this podcast, or my goal for this podcast, is to create a space for people to just be humans and also humans who happen to talk about gym and love gymnastics.
Yeah,
So,
well, thank you for providing that because I think that's all we can do when we see somebody on TV or doing a sport is to try to guess how they are, who they are,
mm-hmm.
until we have an opportunity to be able to express that. And
Yeah.
you having, this podcast allows more and more athletes to be able to say, hey, this is also who I am, And then it's so much more fun to watch when especially if there's athletes that you're interviewing that are doing gymnastics right now. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you get to see who they are as a person and then get to go watch them do amazing things is
Yeah.
awesome. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on my podcast. It really means a lot.
Thank you for having me and still making me slightly relevant.
Oh my gosh, you're forever relevant, forever relevant. You are forever an icon, a USA legend and treasure, and we do not deserve you, quite frankly.
Well, thank you so much. That's so
I
sweet.
mean it. I mean it. But yeah, I hope you have a great day. Oh,
Thank
tell
you.
everyone the name of your gym and
Yes.
where, if they're interested in bringing their child or what,
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah. So I'm the head coach at Central Coast Gymnastics in San Luis Obispo, California. Um, I don't own the gym. It's owned by Mimi Fiend McKellar. But we have a great relationship and she lets me run my team the way that I want to. So, we believe in positivity and having fun and creating some great life lessons through the sport of gymnastics.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you, Vanessa, and I hope you have a wonderful night, and we will talk soon, okay?
Hey, thank
Okay.
you.
Bye.
Tumbling, tumbling, no way. Oh, we keep tumbling, tumbling. Oh, tumbling, tumbling, no way. Oh, we keep tumbling, tumbling. Oh, tumbling, tumbling, no way. Oh, we keep tumbling, yeah. We keep tumbling, yeah. Tumbling, tumbling, no. We keep tumbling.